Welcome to Super Bowl 51 Futures Part 2, where I have the ever-dangerous Seattle Seahawks facing off against the resurgent Oakland Raiders at a 98-1 preseason odds. Wager just a small $50 on there. It does have some possibility. Both teams are currently number 2 in their respective conference. And there is a little bit of history and revenge factor in this, going back to 1983, where the Hawks and the Raiders squared off in the AFC Championship game in LA, which eventually earned the Raiders a trip to Super Bowl 18, where they beat the Washington Redskins 38-9. Back in that season, the Raiders only lost 4 games, and 2 were to Seattle. So Seattle went across country in the divisionals, upset a heavily favored Miami team. Then they had to go back across the country to face an extremely talented Raider squad. And after losing twice in the regular season to Seattle, it wasn't pretty. Anyway, let's take a quick 2-minute trip down memory lane for those who weren't around or know anything about the LA Raiders and Seattle Seahawks 1983 season. Without further ado.
And with only a few minutes remaining, the Seahawks were on the verge of the year's biggest upset. But then the chimes of midnight abruptly sounded, and Cinderella's dream appeared to be over. Seattle's only mistake of the afternoon cost them the lead, and now only a precious few moments remained. Was there enough time for one more miracle? In a drive that will occupy a permanent place in Seahawk history, Dave Krieg and Steve Largent combined on 2 remarkable plays that put Seattle in position to make their fairy tale come true.
Seahawks trail the Dolphins 20-17. Krieg looks over the defense, pitches to Warner. He takes off around the right side. He's at the 5. Touchdown, Seahawks! The Seahawks are going to play in the AFC Championship game next.
On January 8, 1984, in the sold-out Los Angeles Coliseum, over 92,000 fans, the largest crowd in AFC Championship game history, cheered their Raiders on to victory over Seattle and onward to Super Bowl 18. From the start, an intimidating Raider defense dominated, with big plays by number 37, left corner Lester Hayes.
I can't watch any more of that 83 AFC Championship game. Raiders took the Hawks behind the woodshed and tore my heart out. But let's come back to 2016. It'd be a great Super Bowl. A couple of young gun quarterbacks with Derek Carr obviously leading the Raiders. Russell Wilson leading the Seahawks. But one of the reasons why I like the Raiders and I put them on 2 of these future tickets was the fact I looked at the AFC. I don't like the South at all, even Indy. Crossed any of those teams off the list. I looked at the North, and I was like, I don't like Cincy. They lost 2 receivers. Don't like the fact they haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Looked at Pittsburgh. Bell was suspended for 4 games. Bryan is out for the whole year. I'm not overly impressed with their defense. Crossed them off the list. Didn't really like Baltimore's offense. Crossed them off the list. Looked at the AFC East. Obviously, the Patriots are there, but they were the favorites. There was no real money to be made on a long shot. The rest of that division is just whatever. So basically, you got the Patriots. Then I went over to the AFC West. Looked at Denver. They lost Malik Jackson, and then they lost a linebacker, and I didn't know who their quarterback was. So I'm like, they're going to drop back a little bit. So then I looked at the other 2 teams. Kansas City I still like, but the team that obviously stood out, the Oakland Raiders. They went into the free agency. They picked up that monster guard from Baltimore. What's his name? Kelechi Asamele. They picked up Reggie Nelson. They picked up Bruce Irvin from Seattle. They picked up Dave Amerson. I think he was with the Skins. The defensive guys really haven't performed all that well. But then I looked at the anticipated growth in the Oakland quads. That would be Carr, Crabtree, Cooper, and Murray. You get another year of growth and working together. I love that offense. I'm like, the Raiders, they're undervalued. So anyway, that's why I dropped it. Seattle and the Raiders 98-1, Minnesota and the Raiders 200-1. So that's why I'm on them. I think the Hawks and Raiders could get there. It'd be a great Super Bowl, and that's where we're at right now. All right. And I've got part 3 coming up probably in a couple weeks.